Hey everybody, Modoch here with my first ranked match commentary. It's from lower ranks. This game I'm playing against Nolaks2, who's playing full faction Sundered Lands, and I'm playing my KF Wizards BG. They're on the right. Alright. So this was kind of an interesting game. A couple different risks taken by both of us at the beginning that really decided the game. So he decides to put out a trickster Rocketeer and go for the bottom font right off the bat. I'm deciding whether or not I want to do a standard opening. Usually I'll open with the highest speed champ that I have, and I decide for the standard opening of taking a close font. And at this point I want to see what I get next turn before I put up my Chain Fey. So just like I thought, he goes straight for that lower font. And then instead of deploying a champ, he does a minefield to try to protect it. So that's an interesting play. At this point I think he's probably got that lower font secured for a couple turns. So I'm just going to keep with my standard play of taking my font and putting myself in a position to grab another one. And I don't get anything really interesting with my scry, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to deploy here. And I decide that I want to do 2 champs, so I go and do a mage and my Chain Fey. Chain Fey first so I can get the benefit for the mage. And I'm going to take a chance on getting my mage through the minefield to try to contest that lower font in 2 turns so that he doesn't have a huge Nord advantage. Alright, puts out his negation mage and tries to secure his other fonts. Caps the lower font. Right now he's in a pretty decent position. But then I make a decision to take a chance here. Basically I can either control my top font or I can go for one of his fonts to try to contest. And I decide to take a huge risk. No, maybe not a huge risk, but I decide to take a risk and put my trickster in a position where I can threaten both of his fonts. And then I put another champ out in my close font to try to get that upper font in a couple turns. And then here, 1 mine, and I get kind of lucky with the placement here. I don't want to proc too many at the same time, so there we go. And I'm through the minefield. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'll be able to cap that lower font next turn, and then I'll kind of decide what I want to do, see what he deploys. Basically my strategy here is that if he deploys another champ close to his shrine, next to his close font, basically I'll take my trickster up to the top font. And if he doesn't, I'll move in to try to contest his close font the turn after my next turn. So he moves his mage into position. I'm kind of waiting to see what he does here. Obviously double attacks my mage of Lament. And he doesn't deploy, so I'm very excited about that. I go and bring my mage in, proc another mine to contest the font, and because he's going to die, I go and just decide to ping, and I'm going to drop my Cleansing Emerald to kind of keep that font contested for at least an extra turn or 2. Obviously move my movings up to try to take that upper font. Now I don't want to contest this font right away because I want him to move that mage out, so that he's kind of out of the picture. I go into my turn. Alright, so now it's again I'm waiting to see what he deploys. I know for sure he's going to move that mage out. I don't know what he's thinking about where my fairy trickster is. I'm assuming he thinks my fairy trickster is close to his top font. That's the only thing I can think. So he's going to move his mage up, and then now, at this point, he really should be deploying in that font. But what he decides to do is interesting. And actually, at this point, I think my mage is pretty good because he had to spend AP to disengage, and with his extreme range, he can't attack, or at least that's what I think. And this is where I think he kind of makes, not a huge mistake, but casting a spell instead of deploying a champion, when it doesn't make a huge difference. Like I said, yeah, he killed my mage, but I'm still contesting the font with my relic. And then what he does here is interesting. He goes and uses all his AP, so he doesn't even capture that upper font. But the great thing for me is that now he can't contest it coming back. So I think I've got that font. So I cap both those fonts and decide I need a champ to back up that to go down and take out that Rocketeer. So at this point, I'm extremely happy with the way this game is going. And at this point, I'll have a sizable Nora advantage, and I think, like I said, I'm pretty confident right now that I've got this game won. Alright, so he deploys a Charger, which is a great deploy because it's got initiative. He's able to contest that font. My only question is that he didn't really look for my trickster. He had enough AP to kind of check a couple corners. He moves to attack that. Attack the Emerald to try to capture that font. And then drops a Paradosphere on his Charger. Like I said, I really don't know why he didn't try to find my trickster with that Charger. Because now I can play hide and seek. If you'd just moved one extra space, you would have been able to not only find him, but attack him and really do some damage. So I know I've got a clear path with the minefield, through the minefield there. I don't have to take her down all the way. Now with my Moonbeams, I could either contest, but I decide that I don't want him pulling the same thing on me. So I don't want his mage to be able to come down and threaten either of my fonts. So based on just moving my Moonbeams into position to kind of prevent that from happening and kind of see what he does. And then I want to deploy to protect my upper font and decide on the strategist to have some melee for taking that Charger out in a couple turns. Yeah. So I do that. My Chain Fey is almost dead, which is fine because she's not really bringing much to the table right now. Alright, hide and seek time. Like I said, by him not trying to find my trickster that first turn he deployed, I think he really hurt himself with being able to take that font back and secure that font. Because now he's got to waste AP trying to find him. And here I'm looking to see, I think he's going to kill, I thought anyway he was going to go ahead and just kill the Emerald. But he's obviously worried about having Nora, so he just single taps it and then recovers the Nora Globe. But then that puts him in a position to be double tapped by my Starlight. And just out of range of my Chain Fey still. So, that kind of sucks. Alright, so now he uses his Charger's AP to find. Hurts himself with the lava. Something you gotta be really careful with with 2x2s. Alright, so he didn't find me. I think I'm okay. but then he brings his mage down. Now, by doing that, that's another kind of little mistake he made, because now he can't attack me with his mage, and his mage can't disengage again. And again, I'm waiting for a deploy up in that upper font to protect it, but maybe he doesn't have I guess he doesn't have an Nora. Basically what that does, it just leaves a clear open space for my moonbeams to go cap that upper font. Which is exactly what I do. I'm very happy about that. Kind of reposition my strategist. And double tap the Rocketeer. Here's the other thing. I know the Rocketeer only has 1 or 2 attacks left at range, so I'm okay leaving my Sylph in position, because if he attacks that, he's not attacking the relic, which means I get to contest that font for a little while. Once again, I just decided to play keep away with my trickster. I've got 6 charges now, so that's pretty cool. I can counter the next spell he casts. And then I decided to deploy a mage to just give some support for that upper battle that's about to take place. Alright, so at this point, from this point on in the game, he's pretty much reacting to everything I do, which is really what you want to try to achieve. If you can get your opponent reacting to what you're doing, then they're not playing their strategy. He deploys a Cane of Slipped, which I'm a little afraid of. But by doing that, he's kind of blocked his charger from taking the non-damaging route. Okay, so he takes an engaged mage up to cap that, to contest that font, which he had to do. He can't let me keep that font, because then I just start rolling in the Nora advantage. And again, the Paradosphere procs, fuels the rage on that, so that he can get his Manic off. Yep, Manic, Unleash, Assault, kind of sucks. Alright, so that was interesting. He uses an explosive attack on the Sylph, and that's his last one. Alright. So at this point I'm just going 1 versus 1 with the mage. And keep contesting that font. And then here I'm thinking I really want to get that charger relocated onto the lava, but obviously I'm not going to be able to, because the range just isn't going to work out. However, now I can move down and relocate him so that he's not in that font. And I can recapture that font. Then I go and morph the Slipped, just to kind of give my trickster a chance to survive. Ping the shrine, just because I can. Again, just putting more support units out for the main battle that's going to take place. And again, because I'm already contesting, he's now at range 1, I go ahead and decide to use my telekinetic thrust. Take him out of the font and make him move back into the font without doing any damage to anything. And again, I'm pretty happy with what's going on here right now. I've got this game well in hand right now. We've got a huge Nord advantage, sizable champ advantage. Alright, here's his next mistake. He tries to purge when I've got Counterspell Mastery up. So he just kind of wastes, it's just a waste of Nora, is all. And he decides that he needs to take that upper font, which he does. And he really does need to try to capture that. I'm honestly not sure. Oh, he moves up 1, okay. I wasn't sure where he lost that 1 AP, but he had to move up 1 to attack. So that pretty much just, I don't know. It's what he had to do, but like I said, at this point he's pretty much reacting to everything I'm doing. So that's just fine by me. Goes engages myself so that I can't double tap him. And then I'll just play hit and run here. Again, just out of range of my change phase, so that stinks, but whatever. Alright, so at this point I don't want my trickster to die. Before that, yeah, I'm going to try to clean up that top font battle here. Paratosphere sucks. Cool equipment, though. I actually really like it when I play SL. Mobility is very nice on the moonbeams. Allows me to double tap and really put myself in a position to take that charger out next turn and clean up that font battle. And then I go and use this hit and run to engage the mage and kind of try to put myself in a position where the charger can't kill me, but might ultimately end up being futile. Alright, so here I want my trickster to survive a little bit longer, so I go and move my strategist in to contest the font and move my trickster out onto the lava. And move my bow mage up to try to get some anti-range protection, but he's not quite there. So, and then I put out a Conclave Warden because I'm going to need another unit for that bottom font to take out that Rocketeer. Alright. So he finally kills the relic. Moves into engage. Again, we're just playing a little hit and run down there. And then this is another interesting move that he makes, and it's another mistake. Here in a minute. Alright, so he's going to take out my moonbeams with this charger and try to secure that font. And he goes in and recovers the Nora Globe as well. Now I think I would have moved my negation mage up just into the font just to kind of make sure that kind of give me less options on where to contest with my mage, because that's kind of my plan is to contest with my elven mage, teleport in and contest that font. So I think I would have moved if it were me playing his battle group, I would think I would have moved my negation mage up so that I couldn't teleport in as easily. And there's the weird thing. Again, instead of deploying another champ, he does another minefield. And then moves his Canaan Slipped out of the font. Now, the reason I say that's a mistake is that he obviously doesn't realize that the mines from Minefield are summoned, and they can't contest fonts. What that allows me to do is deploy my War Spirit right there. And even though I take damage from a mine, it's fine. And then I make a mistake by using his Fear, his horrific aura, first turn, when nothing can attack him anyway. So, that was a mistake on my part. Alright, so now I'm going to go contest the font with my mage and try to kill that charger. And my first thought is to Rain of Arrows so I get both of them, but I just decided it's better just to kill the charger and take that font. And eat another mine. Get my Conclave Warden in position. I hit 2 mines, but that's okay, because that pretty much takes out the rest of the mines from that first minefield. Hit and run again. Alright, so now that I've got a font contester, in the War Spirit. My hope was to go double tap the mage, but with the mine in the way, that's fine. And that worked out really nicely. But at least I can engage the mage and get an attack off. So that again, he has to spend extra AP to disengage and maybe recontest that fine. But then I figured about escape. So he doesn't have to disengage. Alright, he brings his cannon back in, but he can't attack, and his fear won't let him do a manic either. So all he does is contest the font with that, which is fine. Because at this point, again, I've got a huge Nora advantage, and this game's pretty much over at this point. Even though it deploys Vindrax, I'm a little worried about Vindrax now, because he's a huge target and has huge damage potential. Explosive attack, yeah, uses explosive attack on myself. He's not killing it anytime soon, because I keep making him move. Deflect is awesome, and Blind Fire is awesome. So at this point, my main target right now is Vindrax. I really want to get him out of play. The Negation Mage is dead, because I know exactly where he is. I just use his Rain of Arrows, and that'll completely secure that top font for me. He won't be able to contest next turn with anything that he has out. And I probably should have teleported to get that Nora Globe, but that's alright. Doesn't really matter. Alright, so this point I'm just trying to get into position where I can kind of maybe take Vindrax out next turn. Go ahead and do that. Eat another mine. Don't mind deflect. Alright, so now I love the War Spirit. He lost a life, and then I go ahead and phase shift so that neither one of his champs can hurt him. Go ahead and ping the Kanan with the trickster, and then I try to move him out of the range of Vindrax so that he can't kill him, but then I eat a mine. So, Minefield's powerful, yes, but I don't think it's super OP like everyone else thinks, so, just my opinion. Couple relics. I love the Throne of the Circle in this deck too. That Magic Nova has won me games many times. Alright, so he can't really do anything to my War Spirit, so he breathes. It's really interesting that he took knockback with the Vindrax. Obviously he's going for a knockback minefield combo. I don't think I've ever seen anybody take knockback as an upgrade, but it fits the battle group, so whatever. Alright, so he's going to take his cannon up. And this is where I get just a little worry creeps into my head. And I'll tell you why here in just a minute. Alright, so he goes and takes out my Bow Mage, because Manic's going to proc. Then he drops that Bloodthirsty Blade on him. So now I'm a little bit worried about the Kanan. My first priority is still kind of still Vindrax, mainly because I can't really do anything about the Kanan at this point. Not for another turn anyway. I pulled my Guardian just in time, which is awesome. Because now I can shatter that blade if I can get him in position without too many other things dying. Alright, so I double tap Vindrax with the War Spirit. And at this point I'm basically thinking that I'll need to use like a Stellar Horizon in order to finish Vindrax off. But then I remember I have a relocate foe, which is nice. And again, that takes him out of the range of the War Spirit. And then I Magic Nova to reduce the defense. And get full damage. Attack him to tap for 4 more. And then that leaves him... Again, I'm still thinking using... Like, obviously, look, the Weathering Fern. I was like, no, I can kill him. And I go ahead and just kill him with the Mage. Alright, so now that that problem's out of the way, now I get to concentrate on that Cannon. And again, with that Bloodthirsty Blade, at this point I almost forgot about that lower font battle. So I get 3 quick attacks off, and my turn ends. Alright, so the Cannon with that blade can do a lot of damage if he gets rolling. Now, what I would have done is, instead of recovering those 2 Nora globes, I would have just gone down and killed the strategist. Just because, yeah, as much as he needs Nora, I think killing that champ would have been a better use of his AP. Because now he has to, in order to kill the strategist, he has to use he has to waste Nora on a transfusion instead of saving that for another champ. Alright, so between that and Manic, my strategist is pretty much dead. And the Rocketeer's entangled, so he's not doing much of anything. And at this point, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to deal with the Cannon without getting killed. And then again, he spends more Nora on a Mimic. Yeah, it gives him more damage, but I don't think he really needed it in order to kill stuff. With multi-attack and Bloodthirsty Blade, he's still in pretty decent shape. But like I said, if he would have killed the strategist, he would have been able to maybe deal with the War Spirit a little sooner. So now I'm just positioning, put out another melee tank in order to kind of minimize the damage that the Cannon's going to do. And at this point I just kind of move my Mage back a little bit so that he's not in double tap range. And then here's another small mistake I make. I should have just left my strategist there, but as soon as I did that, I was like, oh, you're stupid. Because now my War Spirit is... now I'm thinking my War Spirit is dead, and this game is kind of taking a turn. Alright, double tap him again. Took me forever to get rid of that guy. Go and Book Burn just because I don't want him to pull out another weird spell that might really turn the tide on me. Because I also know that that's all he's going to have Nora for is spells. So if I can prevent him from doing anything, it just gives me a better chance, I think. Alright, so again, if he goes straight for my War Spirit, he can double tap, but instead he recovers the Nora. And like I said, as important as Nora is for him right now, I think getting rid of that War Spirit would be the higher priority. Because now he doesn't have enough AP to go down and double tap him to kill him. And that's all it would take is a double tap. So he does go down. And I'm still thinking he's dead. Even without the double tap, I still think he's dead because of Manic. Not realizing that Impenetrable will allow him not to take that damage. So again, I'm just thinking of, okay, how am I going to position to get rid of him? And I think he thinks that the War Spirit is dead with Manic. And I honestly could care less about that bottom font right now. But Deflect does its job once again. So now I get really excited because now I know I can kill him. Double tap from the War Spirit. Shatter the blade. And bring my mage in to finish him off. And right there is good game, folks. It's just a matter of time. Clean that up. And now I'm just waiting for the surrender. So even though I took a huge chance in the beginning with my fairy trickster and contesting the font, it really worked out for me because from that point on he was reacting to everything I was doing. I was dictating the match. And I think he made some mistakes in what he decided to spend his Nora on. In my limited experience, I found that spending Nora on champs is a lot better than spending it on spells, unless you can really turn the game. And none of his spells really changed the course of the game at all. So I think that's the lesson we can take from this match. Alright, so at this point, again, like I said, I'm just waiting for the surrender here. He casts a last feudal spell in 3, 2, 1. I guess I just wait. Yeah, there's the Firestorm, which doesn't do much damage because I got my Throne of the Circle out. And I just positioned the troll to take out the shrine if he decides not to surrender. Alright, so that's pretty much game. He's going to surrender here in just a second. I want to thank everyone for watching. If you like this, let me know. Let me know what I can do differently that you might like more, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.